Oh, hey everybody, I'm Noah2. Thank you for watching this video. I appreciate it a lot. This is my second team composition video for Act 1 specifically. Um, and you'll notice it's using the other 4 characters, total of 8 characters. So I just wanted to give every character a little bit of love and put them in some sort of team composition. Um, sort of spoiling it here, showing off the Evangelo deck, right? So these are the other 4 characters. If you got some friends and you want to get together and make a team, here's a team that you can do Act 1 with. Um, this team is going to be, I think, a little more experimental. There's some interesting concepts here that I'm sort of going for as far as the deck composition itself and how we can put specific cards into specific slots in our deck to beat specific missions. Because at the end of the day, the point of the deck is that we need to get from this checkpoint to the next checkpoint. That's sort of, the critical element of completing an act. I mean, you'll sort of see in Hoffman and Evangelo specifically, we'll talk about when we get there, just how we can consider building, how we can look at the campaign and use that information of what we know is going to be coming as far as challenges, and how we take that information and can put it into our deck or use a card to overcome that challenge in our deck. So we'll start off with Evangelo here, and Evangelo is a melee deck. I know. You're probably all you nerds out there are like, no, you can't do melee anymore. Melee doesn't work. It's broken. Or they killed melee, right? But the reality of it was, melee decks were taking a fire axe and like two-shotting tall boys and like stun locking breakers because they can just insta kill their weak spots with a couple of hits from our fire axe, right? Like, I know people are upset about the melee stuff, but melee was broken. It was way too strong. But this is a different melee deck than what you might imagine, right? We all imagine the super OP standing in the doorway, and that one melee character can literally kill everything that comes into that doorway. This is a little bit different. We will not be standing on hubris here. I think this is a way more balanced melee deck, and the point of this melee deck is going to be, like, is revolving around a Vanguard. Like, a Vanguard is a great card. So this melee deck is just like crowd control, healing with Vanguard, and grenades. Because if you guys know me, I love grenades. So share the wealth and double grenade pouch. Every character in this team has the same 2 cards, just because grenades are such a reliable tool to get your team out of so many situations. So many situations. Share the wealth and double grenade pouch, so the team's going to have plus 1600 copper per level. Clean, consistent, very reliable. It's great. I love it. And grenades. And Evangelo should be carrying grenades. None of the other grenades. Like, not the pipe bomb, not the Molotov. Grenades is what Evangelo will be carrying. For Blood Tunnel, Vanguard. Because very quickly here, there's a resource generation card. Vanguard is going to be like the sort of off pseudo medic, basically, providing the team with temporary health. And this is going to be one of the key cards that the team will have, basically, as far as dealing with trauma. This team composition in general is going to be sort of skipping some of the trauma cards to make room for other cards. And you'll see. Superior Cardio and Cross Trainers. We don't really need... These 2 cards are set up here from Pain Train to the Crossing because we need to beat the crossing. That's the first checkpoint. That's a really big hurdle. And as far as stamina cards go, these are just the 2 best stamina cards to get your bang for your buck. 2 cards plus Evangelo's passive move speed, and the team is going to have plenty of stamina and plenty of move speed to work as a unit and complete the crossing. That's just big, because that's the big first hurdle that a lot of people encounter. These 2 cards will come into huge value later on when we get the Bad Seeds, because the Bad Seeds, Hell's Bells, and Abandoned are huge maps. They're really big maps, a lot of open space, a lot of running. So it's a lot of value in general out of these cards in the long run. So for 2 cards, like for an entire campaign, 2 cards, all your movement speed, all your stamina taken care of. Very, very clean. I love it. Bomb Squad. This is Clean Sweep, card number 6. I do want to preface that these cards are ordered very, very specifically so that when you're playing, with these decks, you're always choosing the leftmost card. You're always choosing the leftmost card. I'm not a big believer in the, oh, if this is happening, choose this card, and if you need this, choose this card. I think we're really trying to take control of all the variables here. And so very specifically, the deck is ordered so that you can maintain this this sense of consistency through the campaign, and you play the deck in a very specific way. Bomb Squad at Clean Sweep, because at Clean Sweep and beyond, it happens at the crossing, I believe, but at pretty much from Clean Sweep and beyond, you're going to be constantly facing ferocious mutations. Having Bomb Squad means that your grenades will be keeping pace with those mutation health pools, and you'll be able to one-shot tall boys, basically. That's the point, right? Tall boys are just a big issue. Meth head. Stay in school, kids. Melee attack speed, melee stamina. Just quantity, right? Quantity over quality here. You're going to see for the melee, because for the melee deck, we have Meth Head, Face Your Fears for the extra temporary health of Angela can now be on the front, at the doorway, or whatever, covering that space, and tanking damage for the most part. Heavy Hitter. In this melee deck, you'll notice we have no melee damage cards. None. Zero. And there's a very important reason why. We need Evangelo to not one-shot Ridden with his melee weapon. That's important. That's important. That's going to sound really weird, but what's critical is this fact here. When you kill a common zombie, it loses all collision. So typically, right, you swing your melee weapon, or you punch a zombie and you stumble it. That zombie that stumbled will move in a direction, backwards, left, right, but it'll be stumbled in that direction. If that zombie collides with other zombies while being stumbled, it creates a chain reaction, like a domino effect of stumbling other zombies around him. If we run too much melee damage, when Evangelo swings, he'll kill a wave of zombies, and nothing behind it will be stumbled. And so so the point is, right, there'll be instances where some zombies will get hits on Evangelo. They'll be able to run up and get a nice big whack on Evangelo and things like that. We're running Heavy Hitter here because in order to... This is a little complex. I'm trying to break down my thoughts here, right? So having Heavy Hitter but not enough melee damage means that Evangelo will still be able to consistently crowd control hordes of zombies by stumbling them, as opposed to killing them and then swinging fast enough to kill them before they get too close. The other thing here, too, is when it came to using melee weapons to stumble, like snitches and tall boys and things like that, you needed Heavy Hitter plus a bunch of melee damage. We're cutting that melee damage. Evangelo is not going to be able to stumble tall boys, and safely. He's not going to be able to stumble those things. You can't, it's a hard thing to do now, even with all the right cards. It's a lot of cards to build up into it, so we're cutting out those melee cards and simply saying to ourselves, I don't stumble tall boys. That's not my job. With Heavy Hitter, though, Evangelo can still stumble hordes of zombies with no matter what melee weapon he's using. If he wants to get headshots, he can still headshot all the zombies and kill them anyways, right? But if he wants to stumble crowds of zombies, he can go for the legs or body shots. With Heavy Hitter, though, Evangelo still has the potential, so long as the team is shooting with him, to stumble snitches and things like that. So you still have that ability. Heavy Hitter still gives us a lot of that versatility as far as crowd control goes for a melee weapon, but we don't need the melee damage to do it. Because before, with Heavy Hitter plus the melee damage, you can also stumble tall boys. We're not doing that. We're just forgetting about it. Slugger, again, quantity over quality. We don't need to do a bunch of damage because we're not killing mutations with our melee weapon. We're just killing zombies. Improvised explosives. This is how Evangelo kills mutations. Prefer specifically tall boys. Evangelo's job is to swing a melee weapon and kill zombies. When a tall boy shows up, he's the first person to throw a grenade a lot of the times, because he's going to see it first a lot of the times as well. So he's swinging, he's swinging, he's swinging. He's going to call out to Hoffman, I'm throwing a grenade, and that's going to be Hoffman's cue to shoot his gun. And you'll sort of see, not that Hoffman's just standing there, but you're going to see sort of how this deck works, or this team composition works. This team composition, very, very rigid, very, very specific as far as each role that a character plays in. Evangelo is actually the most flexible character, but he's sort of bogged down by the fact that he just has a melee weapon. But with improvised explosives at this point in time, or at this point in the campaign, plus Bomb Squad, Evangelo's grenades are going to heck up tall boys really, really, really well. Either flat out kill them, or bring them close enough to death that Jim can kill them with a sniper rifle really quickly. Grenade pouch for extra grenades, down in front, and hydration pack. And sort of the build up here that we're seeing is, for the most part, Evangelo's deck is just sort of building up to this critical mass of being able to comfortably deal with a horde with a melee weapon. Machete, baseball bat, whatever. The ultimate end game, though, for Evangelo is his grenades. Because by the time we get to Rolling Thunder, the biggest issue that you're going to be dealing with is tall boys getting on top of the field cannon. Is tall boys slowly overwhelming you, not being able to kill them fast enough. Evangelo is going to be one of the characters who, as soon as he sees a tall boy, him and Jim are going to be communicating who's throwing the grenade, and basically they'll be, as soon as a tall boy shows up, somebody is throwing a grenade at it and instantly killing it. And then Evangelo will switch back to his melee weapon and just keep crowd control. The other campaign-specific card that Evangelo is going to have here is down in front. We have it here right at Abandoned. Literally at Abandoned. 14 is Rolling Thunder, 13 is Abandoned. This is to make... This is to keep Evangelo alive inside the house. Because when you get to the infested house and Abandoned, you're going to be very close quarters. It's going to be easier for your team to hold out in the house together with Evangelo in front most of the time. You can play it different ways depending on how it goes, but this is going to be under the idea that Evangelo is going to be in the front. Because if anything shows up that's scary, there's a lot of corners, the hallways, and things like that. If a tall boy shows up, you don't want to have to worry about friendly fire on Evangelo. Jim can throw a grenade from the back, blow everything up, and kill the tall boy, and Evangelo will be safe. So this, and there's a second house too in Abandoned. Right after the infested house, you have the option, if you want to, hold out at that second house, I believe. At least sort of like catch your breath, restabilize, potentially loot that house, which you're going to see with Hoffman. I actually recommend with the build that we're going to be doing here. So just in general on Abandoned, there's going to be a lot of tight locations where a lot of grenade-friendly fire is possible. With Evangelo in the front and the team behind, you can pretty much negate almost all of that friendly fire because Evangelo will have down in front. Extra health for Rolling Thunder. That's it. The longer everybody is alive, the three players on Rolling Thunder are basically going to be creating like a perimeter around the player who's going to be on the field cannon. So the longer those three players stay alive, the more time the field cannon player is going to have. So it's just flat health, survive as long as possible, yada yada yada. That's it. That's it. Actually, you know, hold on. This is better. Alright, this is better. Put motorcycle helmet on instead. Because of the damage resistance, you'll get more value out of the health over time from the Face Your Fears. I forgot. I was going back and forth between those two cards, and motorcycle helmet's going to be better in the long run. My bad. But here you go. This is the build. This is going to make Evangelo as durable as possible on Rolling Thunder. Hoffman. This is a fun deck, I think. This is going to be a really fun deck. If you like... I don't recommend to use an LMG with this deck. I don't recommend at all that you use an LMG. Hoffman should be using a basic assault rifle. Either the M4, the AK, or the Scar. Those are the three guns that Hoffman's looking for. The higher the quality of the gun, the better. But Hoffman's job is going to be similar to Evangelo's in that crowd control. But Hoffman is going to be only crowd control, except for Shredder, which he'll get way later in the campaign, which allows him to coordinate with Jim to do extra damage if they don't have grenades available, or if they have extra space to deal with tall boys. But for the most part, Hoffman's job is to shoot his gun and kill lots and lots of zombies. Share the wealth, double grenade pouch, standard, flat, super easy. Needs of the many. Needs of the many. We're cutting some corners here as far as support cards go. And so we're just sort of going to share the load between some of the characters Needs of the many, minus 20 health, negates 10 of that because of Walker. Cross Trainer, superior cardio, Huffman's back at 100 points of health, and he's set up for the crossing. Just so you guys know, Walker's third card is Inspiring Sacrifice. So they pick it at the same level at the same time, just to get that health combo of if somebody goes down, everyone gets healed, and everyone on your team has the ability to go down, because this team doesn't have Mom. So Needs of the Many. If you don't have Mom on your Nightmare team, you probably want Needs of the Many on somebody. Tactical Vest. Hoffman will be using an AR. Power Reload, and In the Zone. What the heck? Right? I love Power Reload. Hoffman's job is going to kill hordes of zombies, right? Evangelo could be looking one direction, Hoffman can be looking another direction. These cards are here specifically for two maps, the bar and the diner holdout. Those are two holdout maps where you basically need to stand your ground, kill endless hordes of zombies, and survive for a certain amount of time. Power Reload is basically literally the only card in the game that gives a gun more crowd control, because you get more bullets. So whoever Hoffman is in your squad, they need to be good at Power Reload. They have to be good at Power Reload and In the Zone, right? So as far as dealing with the horde, you just want as many bullets downrange as possible. So we have Power Reload to increase our magazine capacity, and In the Zone, because as Hoffman is killing those zombies, blah, 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 just unloading his gun, getting lots of headshots, killing things, he should be aiming for the head anyways, right? To some degree, right? Because even if you get, 3 or 4 kills or whatever, it's still going to be worth your while, right? Like, you're competing with reload drills here, where you need 4 headshots in 5 seconds to equal In the Zone. But we can stack up to 10 times here. It's a huge amount of reload speed, and so this is why I think this deck is really fun. Is that with the right angle, and good positioning, and just good accuracy, you can just unload a magazine, reload in a second, and just keep shooting. So Hoffman will be able to just deal with tons of zombies potentially. But notice here, Tactical Vest instead of Bomb Squad. Hoffman will not be carrying grenades. Hoffman will be carrying pipe bombs. That's Hoffman's job for the whole campaign, is that Hoffman will have pipe bombs. And he's going to have a lot of them. In fact, we have hazard pay because pipe bombs are expensive. And we just need to keep Hoffman with extra pipe bombs. And this is what I mean by super rigid, in that Hoffman is literally just going to be crowd control. So Hoffman's job is going to be killing lots of zombies and evaluating the situation. If he runs out of ammo, or if things are going south or things are going bad, Hoffman's job is to constantly reevaluate, do we need a pipe bomb? All of the pipe bombs will be on Hoffman. He'll be the only character carrying pipe bombs. So literally his job is just to evaluate, do we need a pipe or not? And that's it. Shredder, for a little bit of versatility. If there's not a whole lot of zombies going on, or if there's some sort of mutation that's a big issue, or maybe a boss that you need to deal with, right? Like, we don't want Hoffman just wasting ammo while fighting a breaker or an ogre or things like that. Especially later on in the campaign, where those bosses get lots of health. You can give a 15% damage boost to the entire team. So just super valuable. Shredder's a great card. Every team composition should probably have one character with Shredder in it, right? Etc. And now we're at this point, right, where we have these 3 cards to help us prepare for the bar holdout and the diner holdout. Lots of money. Shredder for a little bit of versatility, and now we're just preparing for the end game here. Grenade pouch, surplus pouches, and wide mouth magwell. Again, it's just Hoffman at Rolling Thunder. We'll have lots of reload speed, lots of bullets, lots of shooting. Also lots of grenades, so you don't need the grenade dupe. Hoffman's gonna have 6 pipe bombs. Ideally. That's ideally, right? Hopefully Hoffman's maxed out on pipe bombs, carrying 6 pipe bombs. And Hoffman will just need to be smart about when to throw them and when to time them, and recognizing when he's beginning to get overwhelmed that he needs to throw a pipe bomb and reset, reposition, and things like that. Right? So, as far as dealing with Rolling Thunder at the end, you're going to see it's going to be a grenade, like a foundation of grenades to beat Rolling Thunder at the end. Offensive Scavenger. Logic would say that if we're going to have a card like this that's generating resources over time, wouldn't you want it earlier in the deck? Same with Hazard Pay. Here's the thing, though. We might think of that. That's true, right? You want resource generation cards as early as possible so they generate value over time. But the thing is, for one, there's checkpoints in the acts. The chances of your team going from 1-1 Resurgence all the way to Rolling Thunder, that's going to be rare. That's going to be very, very hard. And in that particular circumstance, then yes, you would want Hazard Pay way, way sooner. But that's just not the reality of it a lot of the times. We're going to be starting at Bad Seeds, right? Once we get to this point, we'll be starting at Bad Seeds level, card 11. Right? And then cards like Hazard Pay only trigger from the map that you start at, from the checkpoint that you start at. So at the most, if you're starting from checkpoint to checkpoint, Hazard Pay is only going to go off 4 or 5 times, maximum. But again, remember that the point of the deck is that we need to beat the mission at hand. I think this is very clever. Think about the map Abandoned. You have to get through that gas station. Do you loot the gas station? Yeah, it's pretty much free. It's in your path. It's pretty much not possible to go through the gas station and not loot it unless you're like speedy zoom and speed running like super fast, right? And for the most part, the gas station already will spawn like at least 1 offensive item, I find. But now it might spawn 2 or 3, who knows? After the gas station, you have the house, the infested house. Right? The infested house. Do you loot the infested house? Pretty much, yeah. You have to go through the whole house, finding all the nodes anyways. There's things on the ground, on the shelves, and in the bathrooms and things like that. So another nice, right? A second confined space where loot already naturally spawns. We know that there's loot spawns in that location. So just another opportunity for us to get something else out of Offensive Scavenger. The third house, right? Before you start running up the hill, blowing up the mines, there's a third house that has loot spawns in it. Behind closed doors and in the kitchen and things like that, right? So I just find like there's a lot of potential value that Offensive Scavenger could give your team, simply because Abandon is like gas station, house. And there's like some tool sheds in a garage and outside of these houses and things like that. Like there's a lot of places where loot is basically spawning right on the path that you're taking for the most part. And on a map like that, where there's going to be a lot of potential danger as far as like mutations and tall boys showing up in confined spaces, Jim and Evangelo might be tight pressed for how many grenades that they have as you're going through the map Abandoned. And so I think this card is going to be very, very clutch in terms of squeezing out an extra grenade or 2 here or there, finding a Molotov, throwing the Molotov down, giving Evangelo a break, or just not having to worry about risking any of Evangelo's health and things like that. An extra flashbang. Walker can drop his grenades, pick up a flashbang. An exploder shows up, throw the flashbang. Evangelo can back up, right? So I think Offensive Scavenger is going to give your entire team a whole lot of options as far as resources go, simply on Abandoned. And then the next point is that when you get to Rolling Thunder, you're in a little loot arena. You can kill all the zombies, kill all the sleepers, and then you can freely loot the entire area. Offensive Scavenger again is going to provide a lot more potential extra resources. That could be critical for pretty much for the end of for Rolling Thunder. And so even though yes, we're not getting the full value, if we wanted full value out of Offensive Scavenger, we would put it at 11, because then we would start using it at Bat Seeds and beyond. But I think you can still get a lot of value out of it here. Something to consider when you're making your own decks, that you don't necessarily need to put the cards in one logical place. You just need to put cards in order that allow you to beat the mission at hand, right? Because again, Hoffman's Power Reload in the Zone Tactical Vest, are going to give him the tools necessary to turn his AR or LMG, if that's what you really want, into just the ability to basically endlessly kill hordes of zombies from a distance and then reload and be ready to go again. Walker is going to be like team medic here, but also unfortunately with Act 1, because the field cannon at the end has such a high demand for use speed, Walker is going to have combat medic, screwdriver, headband magnifier, multi-tool, etc. His job is going to be the field cannon at the end. As far as grenades go, Walker can carry whatever. I actually recommend that he probably just carry grenades or flashbangs. He can also carry pipe bombs, but again, pipe bombs are expensive. You'll probably want to get an offensive upgrade or two as you go through the campaign. So keeping Walker's grenade expense down is nice. So probably flashbangs are a great choice for Walker here, because Walker's going to have Inspiring Sacrifice at 3, which is going to correlate with Hoffman's Needs of the Many. So you get that Wombo combo together with two separate characters, Cross Trainers and Cardio, for the crossing. And here is, like, we're cutting all the corners. We don't have Doc. We don't have Medical Professional. We don't have, like, the big ticket, because Medical Professional is expensive. You need medkits and defibs and things like that. This is going to be sort of like a little snappier, cheaper, faster. Experienced EMT, shoulder bag, poultice, fanny pack. This is like the economy, like medic setup, basically. And it's going to be sort of like quantity over quality here, because Walker's going to be able to have 4 pain pills, and I recommend you use pain pills. But though, if you want extra health, then you can use bandages. But poultice, better than all the. If you watched my top 15 cards plus some bad cards video, you'll understand my love for poultice. Poultice is a great card. It's better than pretty much all of the healing efficiency cards, so this is going to allow you to get a lot of bang for your buck out of your pain pills, as well as bandages if you go that path. And then Experienced EMT offers the opportunity to recover 20 points of trauma per level. We'll get it at Clean Sweep. So basically, the team is going to have very limited access to trauma recovery for the crossing, and the reason why I've chosen to do that is because getting a med cabinet on Pain Train is on Blood Tunnel is relatively easy, because the secret room, the loot room, is so on the path that on Pain Train or on Blood Tunnel, one person should have a toolkit, and you can recover trauma there. There is a natural med cabinet that can spawn on Pain Train, but also after Pain Train at the crossing, you have a med cabinet there automatically. And so for the first for the first checkpoint of Act 1 up to the crossing, the Devil's Return, you're basically going to be relying on med cabinets for your trauma recovery and Vanguard to basically heal over your trauma. So we're sort of cutting some corners there. But now at Clean Sweep, we have the anti-trauma healing temporary health thing. Because again, between Vanguard and the pain pills that Walker has, you'll just heal over your trauma. And if you have good pacing and you keep moving, then having that trauma won't be an issue, and temporary health will be more than enough to get you to the end. And basically after that, we just don't have any more room in the deck. We get combat medic, screwdriver, headband magnifier, multi-tool, so that Walker will be the critical player as far as boarding up the church. Multi-tool because we need it for the field cannon, and then canned goods because you're just going to endure pain and suffering for a long time. When you get to Rolling Thunder with this deck, Walker should 100% have flashbangs. I recommend you watch my video on Nightmare Guide Act 1, the Rolling Thunder video, so you can see how I set it up, how I use flashbangs as the critical part of it. And at that point, Walker should only be healing himself with his pain pills. Because in my successful run of Rolling Thunder, between like fire in the hole and a bunch of pain pills, I healed. I absorbed like almost 300 points of damage just to tank through getting beaten to death as I loaded the shells, basically. And so Walker's gonna have sort of like that ability as well. The extra bonus health as well from experienced EMT is going to help compensate a lot of times for Hoffman and Jim, who are losing health because Hoffman has Needs of the Many, and Jim is going to have Glass Cannon. So experienced EMT is going to sort of be critical in keeping those guys at a reasonable health pool. That's Walker, sort of straightforward. That's it. Jim is the sniper man. Jim 100% needs to have a sniper rifle, either the 50 cal like the Barrett or whatever, or the Phoenix. He needs one of those two. Needs one of those two. For right, so the standard 2 cards for Blood Tunnel, reload speed. And the thing about using the sniper rifles, the bolt action sniper rifles, reload speed increases your rate of fire. You pull the bolt action on your sniper rifle 30% faster with this card. And so Jim's job is to basically kill mutations, right? Hoffman's job is to kill common. Jim's job is to Jim will almost never be shooting Ridden. He'll almost never be shooting a zombie. He'll only shoot zombies to get stacks of his damage, get his damage stacks going. Other than that, Jim is going to be walking around with his sniper rifle in hand, just listening and waiting for mutations to show up. That's all he's going to do. Hawkers, exploders, Jim kills them, and the better your Jim player, the sooner those things die, just instantly. But when it comes to killing tall boys, right, when it comes to killing those high health mutations, and when the pressure's on, you want DPS, damage per second. And DPS is basically bullet damage and rate of fire. Sniper rifles already do a crap ton of damage, and this is like a safer sniper build. We could build more damage into the sniper rifle with like silver bullets and Confident Killer and other cards like that, right? That just give flat damage bonuses. And to make, a 300 damage round do almost 500 points of damage, that's all well and dandy. But if your gun doesn't shoot that fast, if you miss your shot, who cares if you do 500 damage? So this is safer because I don't know how good you are. You may not have a friend on your team who's good at sniping or has good accuracy, right? So with the Magwell, as well as reload drills, obviously missing your shots is bad, but with this extra reload speed, you're going to be punished less for missing your shots. And so we're sort of going quantity over quality here again, where Jim can sort of still do really, really good DPS, but he's doing it with multiple shots instead of just one big shot. Cross trainers, superior cardio for the crossing. Bomb squad, because now Jim is going to be carrying grenades specifically, just to kill tall boys. When it comes to all the other mutations, the exploders and the stinger variants, Jim can kill them with a sniper rifle. When tall boys show up, and you don't have space to maneuver your team around him to kill him slowly or with bullets, Jim can just throw a grenade, blow him up, right? Because Jim will have bomb squad, glass cannon, and marked for death, and improvised explosives, all just to guarantee that Jim's grenades do a crap ton of damage, and just guarantee that he'll blow up tall boys when the time comes. Stock pouch, a little bit extra damage. We really want more for the sniper ammo capacity. Reload drills, glass cannon, marked for death. It's just damage. It's either damage for his sniper rifle or damage for his grenades, and just his sniper rifles shoot literally as fast as possible. For attachments, Jim's sniper rifle should either have the effective range barrel or the silencer. I would recommend the silencer because that's going to give Jim's ability to heck up snitches from far away with the bonus damage that the silencer does, as well as do a nice chunk of damage at a tall boy that hasn't been aggroed yet. Things like that. So for the sniper rifle, I'll recommend the silencer. For the magazine, I actually recommend reload speed first, and then stumble damage second. Both are good. Because when it comes to like stumble damage and things like that, Jim's sniper rifle is going to shoot fast enough for the most part in most circumstances that you don't really need to stumble the exploder. You'll just kill the exploder in 2 hits anyways. So infinitely stun locking him from a distance really doesn't matter. It still takes 2 shots to kill him either way. But of course, if you don't find a reload magazine, then stumble damage is great anyways. The reason why I like extra reload speed is, again, you turn your sniper rifle into a machine gun basically. So if you can get a purple reload speed magazine for Jim's sniper rifle, golden. Plus the extra 50, he's gonna be shooting like double the speed that he normally can. It's fun. I think it's really fun. And then grenade pouch, surplus pouches. We're just building up now to that end game where Jim is gonna have 6 grenades. 6 grenades that will kill literally any mutation that shows up. So again, this whole team composition, and then canned goods for health at the end, just extra durability, and that's about it. And so you can sort of see here, like, every character is something very specific. Evangelo is going to be like this off. Evangelo is going to be leveraging extra heals, basically, just little bits of extra heals here and there with his Vanguard, and this extra crowd control. Evangelo is going to be good on the bar map, where he has the ability to either guard a window, depending on where you hold out, because Evangelo can either stand on the jukebox, and the team is all positioned correctly to fight in that sort of position. Evangelo will be good on the diner, where again he can hold a different angle. Hoffman will look one way, Evangelo will look the other way, etc. Things like that. And when it comes to Rolling Thunder, Evangelo will just control some amount of space. He'll probably be pretty close to the field cannon, giving extra temporary health to whoever's on the field cannon, things like that. So Evangelo is like this weird, like, we're leveraging the melee build just so that we can kill lots of common zombies, get extra health. When a mutation shows up, though, Evangelo throws a grenade at it. Hoffman is going to be shooting lots of bullets all the time, no matter what, and throwing pipe bombs to maintain crowd control. Walker is our use-speed guy, as well as just like a little discount healer setup. 4 cards, and Walker can provide lots of extra temporary health, restore trauma, and turn paid pills into bandages. Very clean, very simple. Not huge dramatic effects as far as the healing items go, but it's very cheap. For the price you pay for pain pills, you're going to get a lot of value out of them. And then Jim is our ultimate damage dealer, sniper man. Goodness, this video is way longer than I wanted it to be. But here it is. Thank you guys for watching. I appreciate it. Let me know if you use this team with your friend and if it works out or not, or if there's things that suck about it and you're like, hey, we tried doing this and you can't actually beat this level with it so hard. Let me know. I'd appreciate it. And yeah, so thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you in the future.